you mentioned your experience. You had a chance to play on the same team with JJ, AAU. Team name and what was that experience like back then?
Our team name was the Rono Jaguars. That was uh during the good days of AAU basketball where you didn't have 100 teams coming out of one city. You had the elite basketball players in each age group in the city of in whatever city or area that you were from. And we came from a very prominent program in my eyes. We had several guys that went and played at the next level, collegiate level, whether it was basketball, whether it was football. We had probably, I want to say, 7 or 8 guys that went and played Division I basketball on that team. Some of those guys, J.R. Reynolds, obviously they played at the University of Virginia. We had Chris Tucker that went and played at Virginia Tech. We had Shane Nichols, Wofford, Matt Nallen, Elon, and the list goes on and on. Myself, I went to McNeese State, so we had a variety of different guys that played at the next level. And the good thing is, it was before the era of what we call now the transfer portal era. All of us stuck around. I think not until the tail end did JJ get away from us and go to the glimmers of playing for the shoe team with Boo Williams. I think with his 17 when got to 17 and under. But other than that, man, we were a close, tight knit family. We've actually stayed in contact through the years. During important times, people got married, or they've had children. Death of parents, whatever the case may be. We've always been very close and tight knit, and we have a group chat for our team. We still do. We're in our 40s or going into our 40s, and we were just talking earlier today just how proud we are of JJ and the accomplishments that he's made, becoming the head coach of the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the specialty back then? Was it always 3-point shooting, and did he always kind of have that I guess that flair back then, or did that develop?
Well, it's a funny story, and I think some of my old teammates probably can to this, but he was always a pretty solid shooter. But I remember the summer going into, I want to say, our 8th grade or 9th grade year. I want to say 8th grade year, we were in Memphis and we were playing in a game and he was going in for a layup and he got undercut. When he got undercut, he landed on his right wrist. And I think the rest was history. I don't know if it was a trigger of what happened, in his wrist or whatever the case may be, how they fixed it back up.
Yeah.
But he came back and he became the elite shooter that we all know him to be. And he always had the ability to shoot the basketball, and he was always one of probably our top players. But it's like when that happened, it's almost like something just came on, and he actually just became just a really successful basketball player and shooter from there.
Yeah. Obviously, AAU, you guys come from different areas, like you mentioned, of the city and such. So you get to high school, and now you got to go against him. He's a different school than you.
Yeah.
What what was that like, man? I mean, was it jovial, or were you guys kind of like fierce competitors out there?
Well, we were fierce competitors. He probably was at a different point, probably, because he was, already a decorated um, high school basketball player. I mean, he committed to Duke in 10th grade. So, he was always, All American, top 10 in the country in our class, all of those different things. And but this competitive nature. You play against somebody, you always want to compete and give your best shot against them. But now one thing I can say is you had to go around, you had to chase them, and because he had screens coming from all over the place. For their program. So, but he always was a competitor. Off the court friends. You know what I'm saying? We were good. We were good friends. And in high school, even during high school, we were still AAU teammates, and
Mm.
so we between certain months, it wasn't really a lot of communication. But once you got in the thick of things when it came to AAU, he was your teammate and your
Yeah.
brother, and that's the one thing about our AAU team and our program was that we had a brotherhood. So
Mm.
those are things um, that we completely knew we had as a program, as a team. Now, the months, like I said, between October, September to March, he was Cave Spring, I was William Fleming, whatever the case, whatever high school, one of our teammates, we wanted to give him our best shot and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. In talking with Coach Hicks and even knowing Coach Hicks, a lot of people have talked about just how he ran that program and just kind of how it was almost kind of run like a college and kind of how that helped him and propelled him. How important was the coaching back then, for you guys, not only AAU, but even with your school teams in terms of developing you all in that special group to move on to D1?
Well, I can tell you one thing, development was key. I can tell you with our AAU program alone, we were in the gym 4 or 5 hours a day during the summertime. Our coaches, Coach Delmar,
Yeah.
Coach Keith Haynes, Coach Dick Wall. I mean, those guys, they drilled it in us. And, they just made us work and continuously, um, you know, try to get better and develop. Um, and today's game, that's a key proponent. But back then we were in there in the hot gyms. We were in Rono Catholic where they had the big fans and that was it. No AC. You know what I'm saying? You walk in, first 30 seconds, you dripping sweat.
Yeah.
But we did everything. Those are the guys that taught us how to lift weights. Those are the guys that taught us the importance of taking care of your body, away from the basketball court. So during those times, those were important. We all came from solid high school programs, and like you said, JJ came from Cave Spring, and I think Coach Hicks, he always did a great job with development, and making guys be better players and play at a higher level. And that was the key. And like I said, we came from an AAU program where we had 8 guys that went Division 1 alone, not to mention a couple guys that, played at Division 2 or Division 3
Yeah.
levels. So the importance of development, skill development was key in our growth as basketball players.
Yeah. Man, I can only imagine, man. So many different personalities and skilled
Mm.
guys back then, man. You've been at the coaching ranks before, high school level, and obviously, of course, at the college level as well. What's the mindset of coaching? Because at the college level, you're handling, guys that are still kind of growing and such. He's jumping into a situation. He's straight going to guys that are developed, that are the best at what they do, and they got the ego factor in there too, right? Like they always talk about with the NBA. Can you even imagine or fathom what kind of, I guess, mental fortitude that would take to take on such a challenge as that?
I think he has the first of all, he has the knowledge because he's been at that level. Um, he had a 15-year playing career. So I think that alone probably can help him. You hear things about like how will he be able to manage guys and things like that. He was just in that chair a couple years ago. And yeah, things change over time in regards to players, how you adapt, different things of that. I've been doing it for almost 20 years, and I've seen the adaptation. But he, um, I think he'd be the perfect guy for that position. People worry about, does he have the experience? I mean, you have to get experience, at some point. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you have guys that, you know, you've always had first-time head coaches at some point.
Yeah.
Um, that haven't had experience. But I think, key for him will be making sure he has a experienced staff, a staff that can help him, that can groom him in that position. I think because he has played at that level and has dealt with elite guys and dealt with egos as a player, I think he'll be able to manage it as well, in the coaching realm as well.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I've been telling people, and I even said it earlier when we were on the news. I was like, if you look at the podcast he's got with LeBron, I mean, I've never seen anybody break down X's and O's as exquisite as he has, in that realm. So the X's and O's, I don't question that at all. I think it's just that other aspect of just that management part of it. And to your point, I think I agree, man. I think once you experience it, you know nothing but to teach it and to do it right,
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times experience is key.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's in a CEO chair. Anytime you're a head coach nowadays, being a head coach, you're a CEO. You have to manage.
Yep.
You have different guys, whether it's your assistant coaches, whether it's player development guys, whether it's scouts. You have to manage all of those different realms, and let those guys do what they do.
Yeah.
That's important. And I just think, he has the capabilities of doing it. He just has to get the experience. And what better place to get that experience is than with the LA Lakers.